I'm Kelly Lock, and a couple years ago I was in a girls' Bible study, and we had challenged each other to start tithing, and that was one of the things that we were going to keep each other accountable on. And at first I was kind of scared. I didn't feel like I could really afford to tithe, but I did it anyway, and God's really showed me like how much He could bless me. And at the time we were still dating, and I had been tithing for a couple weeks, and then I approached him about tithing, and I told him that I really wanted him to start tithing. And I mean, he had the same reaction as me at first. He felt like he couldn't afford to tithe, and so he started doing it though. And
yeah, I was a little bit more flaky than she was. If I had a bill coming up or something like that, then I would pay that bill before I would pay God. It was almost like my tithe was my last 10% instead of my first 10%. I wouldn't give God what little He asked for first. And so we got engaged, and you know, we were both tithing on and off. It wasn't like a set thing. It wasn't a big deal to me at the time. And you know, we paid for most of our wedding ourselves. So when we started paying for the wedding, you know, tithing kind of ceased with us, because we were like, oh, we have so much to pay for. How can we possibly tithe and be able to pay for this wedding? And you know, we made it through the wedding, and you know, tithing still wasn't a big deal. And then we had a very large unexpected bill through Kelly's work come up that we had to pay. And then my dad was in the hospital for a month in Pennsylvania, and that was something we hadn't budgeted for, with, you know, gas money driving up there and back, and you know, food costs while we were up there. And it just really impacted us hard financially. And you know, we were just beaten down. You know, we weren't taking it out on each other or anything like that, but it was just, I think as a man, you know, I'm supposed to be the one to provide, and I felt like I wasn't doing that for my brand new family. Like, I feel like I wasn't being the man that I was supposed to be. And we finally just sat down one night, and
well, one Sunday morning, Jeff had said in one of his sermons that if you don't tithe, you don't trust God. And to me, that was like a smack in the face, but in a good way, because I want to trust God. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't trust God. So, I didn't trust Him completely to tithe faithfully. So we had a talk one night, and we decided that no matter what, we were going to tithe, no matter what. That was going to be the first check that we wrote, and we started doing that, and God started providing for us in a way that we can't even explain. Like, we can't even explain how we got to catch up on our bills, and now we're starting to save money.
mm-hmm.
And it doesn't even make sense, like, mathematically how it happened, but it did.
Yeah, so it's just been an incredible feeling that, you know, that's the one thing that God says, test me on this, and I promise that I will be faithful to you. And beyond a shadow of a doubt, He has showed that to us just time and time again. With when we started tithing, it's a phenomenal feeling, and it's helped me personally grow closer to God, because, you know, when He started providing for me, like when I started being faithful with my money, it made me want to get into His Word and just get closer to Him, because He's been, you know, so faithful to me. You know, I want to get to know Him better, and it's just been phenomenal for both of us. So I challenge anybody, if you're having struggles financially, or you know, if you think you can't afford to tithe, just tithe. I promise that God is going to provide above and beyond what your means are.
We're not rich, but we haven't gone without. So, and I mean, He just says, trust me, and I'm going to provide. And it may not be with money, but it'll be amazing no matter what it is. So that's our story.